Hello Collective, this is Tan from Artemis Oracle. I'm going to do a reading just to see what the general energy is for today. Today is September 3rd. Today is Wednesday, September 3rd. I'm using the Love Oracle deck. Let's see what comes out. My cards are in reverse. So the card. I just want to get some cards before I get started. The first card we have is Clock, needing time, cycles and time to heal, progressing. Wedding rings, union, marriage, soul connection, everlasting love, devotion. Camera, reminiscing, making memories, learn from the past, perception. And key on a ring, many options, unconventional, one night stand, string along. And at the bottom of the deck, we have ascending. Learning and expansion, transcending, preparing for union, new phase. The first thing that I got from this is about relationship ascending. You know, maybe some of you are looking at the time you've spent with somebody, or someone's reflecting on the time that they've spent with you, and they're considering whether or not they want to take your relationship to a new level. And I'm saying this because ascending is like going up, moving to a new phase, preparing for union, like it says. And then we have wedding rings. So some of you are maybe in a relationship where it may be heading into an engagement. Some of you may already be engaged, and you may be already planning your wedding, maybe picking out wedding rings right now. Everlasting love, devotion, key on a ring. But the thing, key on a ring, many options, unconventional. I think somebody could be planning, best case scenario, or someone could be stringing somebody along, making them think that the relationship is going to elevate, that it's going to be serious, that they're going to be moving into a new phase, and that marriage is on the table. But I think someone may have been in a relationship dynamic where, and it's funny, where a lot of time and energy has been spent, and time is basically ticking. Because I'm saying this interesting because what I'm going to say is that sometimes you're in a relationship for a certain amount of time and you expect the relationship to progress. There's like a natural level or natural way that relationships progress organically without there being manipulation or anything. It's just the trajectory, the natural trajectory, where two people can be at the same phase where they're like, okay, I like where this is going, and I can imagine being with this person for the rest of my life. I can imagine being married to this person. I can imagine creating a life with them, building a home, you know. But it depends on your situation. You know, maybe some of you are feeling like time is ticking and that, you know, you should already have a ring on your finger. And you may feel like someone is stringing you along. What I have underneath clock is glow up, you know. Glow up. And a reading I did that I posted, I believe it was yesterday, I mentioned a glow up. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical glow up where you transform yourself, you know, there's a physical transformation. A glow up can be from within. It could also be something is being revealed, something is, you know, through time, something is being clarified because it's being shown through the light of day, you know. Move on with wedding rings. So this is about possibly like kind of riding the wave as you enter this new phase in your relationship, if it resonates, because not everything in this reading is going to resonate, you know. But if some of you, maybe you and this person have gone through different types of situations in your relationship where you've overcome a lot of struggles, adversities, interferences. And interferences can be anything. It could be third-party situations, and it could be with other people. It could be with work. It could be with family. It can be someone's emotions. You know, maybe somebody's moving away from certain emotions. Maybe someone is feeling a wave of emotions about a connection, about uniting with somebody, creating a life with somebody, you know. And with the camera card and love coming out together, it's like someone is reminiscing about the time that has been spent, right? And how you and this person have, you know, like I mentioned, overcome some obstacles. And it's like you're meeting each other halfway, you know? Somebody's, you know, like you're meeting each other halfway. You know, maybe you're looking at how you've invested in each other, all the ups and downs you've experienced in your relationship, or even within yourself as a person, or even within themselves as a person. You know, everybody has their personal issues. Even when you're in a relationship, you know, I could have issues in my relationship and my partner could have issues within him, you know, but that doesn't mean, you know, I mean, it does impact the relationship, yes, but we could all have our own inner demons in a way. So maybe some of you are just looking at things from a different perspective. You're looking at everything that you've overcome, all the mistakes you made in the past, and how you're moving forward, how you're meeting each other in the middle, how you're compromising. And not in the sense where you're not sacrificing anything, but it's a matter of you, you know, doing things that make each other happy, you know, considering each other, thinking about, oh, if I do this, how will that affect my partner, and vice versa. Key in a ring with many options is your time. Some of you may, like I mentioned, some of you may feel like you're being strung along, like you've been in a relationship dynamic for a significant amount of time, and it feels like your relationship should have reached a certain level already. But with the camera, you know, it's like someone moving up, you know, there's steps, there's phases in a relationship, right? So it's about someone's already here, right? Somebody's ready for the commitment. Somebody's ready for the marriage. Somebody's ready for, you know, the next phase, but it's a matter of the other person being at that place too. So it may not be there may not be, like whoever this person is that seems to be hesitant about elevating a relationship, it may not be because they don't want to, it could be because they're not ready to. You know, sometimes we have our personal baggage and within ourselves that we don't want to drag into a relationship, right? But it's saying it's your time. Many options, unconventional, one night stand, string along, you know? So what this means, it's your time. It's like it's your time to make a decision. It's your time to decide how you want to move forward. You know, are you going to continue waiting? Or are you going to have a conversation with this person? Or are you going to look at what your relationship is? What kind of relationship you even want? Because some people don't believe in marriage, you know. And the only reason why I'm bringing marriage up is because of wedding rings. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a marriage itself. It could just be a commitment of sorts. You know, it could be just you being in an exclusive relationship with someone, right? But with key on a ring and it's your time, I feel like it's a matter of like you've been patient enough and you feel like the time is ticking, the clock is ticking. You know, should I continue to invest in this dynamic or should I just move forward? You know, because in the bottom we have ascending, right? Learning and expansion, transcending, preparing for you in your new phase. I feel like this is about a relationship leveling up and love, unconditional love, self-love and wholeness, affection and attraction, selflessness. Maybe some of you feel like you have been selfless in a relationship. Some of you feel like you've been giving unconditional love and that you've been putting your best foot forward and you've been patient, you've been caring, you've been loving, but you're wondering, should you continue to invest or maybe look at what your options are moving forward? And one of the options is to continue to be in a relationship. You know, it's funny because we have the love card with what's this deck called, the Life Happens deck, but then we have the love card with the love oracle. Unconditional love, self-love and wholeness, affection and attraction, selflessness. Old school. Outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. We have like the reminiscing, we have the camera card, you know. Maybe some of you are just reflecting on how your relationship, you know, maybe there has been some issues, concerns that have arisen in your relationship where you're replaying the events and you're considering how things have played out. You could be also thinking about, you know, maybe some of you may have an old school idea about relationships. I know I do. And I'll be honest, I was in a long relationship, but it was my first relationship. So I do have experience in relationships, but it was with my first person. You know, I was with him for a significant amount of time. I've known this man for more than half my life. Yeah, more than half my life I've known this man. So I'm a little bit old school in certain ways when it comes to relationships. But it could be some of you are old-fashioned too. You know, we always hear people on social media talk about that 90s love. I mean, like, the same shit that's happening now is the same shit that's happened then. It's just now it's being broadcasted on social media. You know, like, everybody's in everybody's business because it's easy to spread news and gossip and all that shit. You know, it's easier to cheat now. Like, maybe it was easier to cheat now. I mean, maybe it's easier to cheat now than it was back then, but people were always cheating, you know? I'm not saying all people cheat, but humans have always cheated, you know? It's not anything new, you know? But maybe some of you have experienced some things in your relationship and you're really thinking, you're overthinking, maybe you're replaying events, maybe you're mulling things over, considering, you know, your relationship, is this something to consider, try to take to the next phase? Or is it something that you should just move on from? Which is basically what I'm saying. I keep repeating myself, you know? All right, let me see what else I could get. I'm going to my, I don't know what this madness. I don't even know what this deck is called. But it's a nice deck. I hope you're all doing well. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again with this. So let's clarify. Okay, that's too many cards, but I see moving away from conflict with the Seven of, no, the Chariot. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. I don't know why. I don't know, like, for some reason I know Mercury is no longer in retrograde, but it seems like my speech has gotten worse since it's gone direct. Let me see something. I'm gonna share something about myself. I was someone who really didn't like talking, really like sharing my opinions, or, you know, like, I had to be very close to somebody in order to really authentically express myself. But during the pandemic, I created my channel. I had a beauty channel, and I used that to help me do something that I've wanted to do for a long time, which was create beauty content. But it was also a means for me to improve my speaking because I don't know, I didn't feel like I had a voice. Like, whatever I had to say, it didn't matter, you know? And then, so I used to keep things to myself. Like, when people would say things, especially if they would say something that was like cross against me, I wouldn't really say anything. I was like, oh, I already know who you are, okay, but I'm just gonna not deal with you. So I was that type of person. And I think that's a Scorpio thing too. It's like, sometimes you really don't have to confront people or anything. It's just, oh, okay, that's how you are? Okay, you're dead to me. That's how I was, you know? But I feel like sometimes you have to speak up. And, you know, sometimes there are times when I want to say something and it doesn't come out right. And it's because I think I'm still working on my throat chakra. You know? Okay. We have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is an earth sign energy, young earth sign. So some of you may be receiving some sort of message. But the Page of Pentacles is coming in with a message that is of something that's of, it could be a gift, it could be of monetary value, it could be a meaningful message, it could be something that kind of helps ground the situation, the information that may be coming from it. But then I have the Temperance card coming out, which is Sagittarius, Temperance, Aunt M. So this is about getting some information about how you should proceed, how you should invest. Should you pour into things that, are you pouring into what's serving you where you can see growth, or should you withhold your energy? Should you consider pouring your energy into other means? But how does this relate to this reading? With the dog there, it's about loyalty. It's like some of you may be wondering if the person that may be on your mind, if they're loyal to you at all. You know, are they committed? Are they committed to investing in the relationship, growing the relationship? Oh, my nose is itching. Ooh. Okay, tell us more about the Page of Pentacles with Temperance. We have the Nine of Pentacles, which is an independent energy, with the Four of Cups. I feel like some of you maybe at this place where, you know, if you were to be on your own, you would be okay. But you have experienced, oh, well, I don't want to project because I don't like saying you. I like saying maybe, because this will only resonate with a few people and not with everybody. But some of you have experienced some sort of emotional disappointment. And it may be why you want to keep to yourself, or maybe you're considering keeping to yourself, because it's like you see that you can grow, that you can prosper, that you can elevate yourself, but can the person you're dealing with elevate with you? You know? Seven of Wands. Some of you maybe keeping things to yourself, you know, maybe you're not sharing what it is you're feeling, but it could also be you have your defenses up, you know, possibly because there has been some level of disappointment, and it's like in some way you're trying to protect yourself from further disappointment. What is the Seven of Wands? The King of Pentacles. I mentioned that you may be wanting to elevate, that you're seeing yourself grow, you're seeing yourself elevate, but you've experienced some sort of disappointment. You know, you may be considering keeping your defenses up, protecting yourself from further disappointment. But what the King of Pentacles is, it may be because you're trying to maintain your own stability. You're wanting to remain grounded, not allow yourself to fall under any illusions in a relationship. You're maybe also wanting to bring balance. I think for you, it might be that some of you may be considering pouring into yourself, like trying to grow and overcome any disappointment that you've experienced, but move to this place where you start investing in yourself, you're still pouring into yourself. You know, you could think of this as your own garden. You may be pouring into yourself and wanting to see growth and prosperity, you know, and you're doing that, but you also you've experienced some level of disappointment, you know, in the past. And you want to keep your guard up, protect yourself, because your stability is paramount to anything else. Even it may be paramount to love. It may be paramount to love. Wow, some of you may have been overthinking, you know, maybe there has been some sort of imbalance because you have been overthinking a situation, you know. Maybe you're thinking, wow, this clock is ticking, you know, we've been together this amount of time, but nothing is happening, nothing is progressing. You know, there's no evolution in this relationship. You know, it seems stuck and stagnant. So should I continue to move on? Because, you know, the glow up and the Nine of Pentacles, it's about that too. This is about knowing your worth and protecting your energy, pouring your energy into things that serve you, that elevate you, and also protecting that. You know, protecting that from anybody who may want to bring emotional dissatisfaction, who may not be offering you exactly what you want. And maybe what it is that you do want is stability. You want a partner that will want to commit. But you don't want a partner that will commit just to keep you. You know, you want a partner that is committed to being with you just as much as you're committed to being with them, and committed to building something with you. Building stability, building a home, building an empire. Anything else? We got the Hierophant and the Ace of Wands. You know, you want somebody who's as passionate about you as you are about them. You know, who is as passionate about having some sort of commitment with you, you know? And the Hierophant is Taurus energy. We have the Eight of Swords still at the bottom. Someone may be overthinking, you know, maybe they're seeing something that's really concerning them and it's having them think about in which way they should go with the Two of Pentacles. It could be the person that you're dealing with, or it could just be you yourself considering, should you consider, I mean, I'm being redundant. If you want to move on from a relationship, or should you stay and see if anything changes, you know? But it's like, and if you feel, you already feel stuck, because the Eight of Swords is about being stuck in your head. If you're already feeling stuck in something, you're already observing that within yourself with the Page of Swords, then, you know, that may be your indication that, you know, maybe this isn't the right thing for you. And that may not resonate with everybody, you know? Maybe you're like trying to balance things within yourself. Maybe somebody could be focusing more on work. There may be some level of imbalance in the investment in the relationship, because someone may be focused on other things more than they are the relationship itself, you know, with the Two of Pentacles. And it could also be that someone has been more focused on building their financial stability, improving their financial standing in some way. If that's the case, this person may be the one feeling stuck. Whoever is trying to balance their finances, they may be feeling a bit stuck, and they're noticing that within themselves, within the relationship too. They may be observing that there isn't any movement. You know, they're acknowledging it, that things are moving in the relationship. It isn't progressing. And look at Justice card came out again at the split. I feel like somebody does want to bring balance, because with Two of Pentacles with the balance, the Justice card. Yeah, maybe somebody is, because Justice can be about marriage, it could be about contracts, it could be about resolution, fairness, balance, honesty, truth, clarity. So maybe there's somebody who wants to speak their truth, who wants to, maybe they're feeling trapped. Because remember, pages are messengers. Pages are about communication. Maybe someone's having a difficult time expressing their thoughts and feelings about the relationship. You know, maybe they do want to get married, or maybe they don't. It depends on your situation, you know. But maybe they are not sure how to broach the situation. But with the Ace of Wands and the Hierophant, it could be that somebody does want to have a commitment, but they may not feel like they're at the right place, or they're even ready to be in a commitment, you know, and that may be where they feel like their hands are tied. Anything else? Page of Wands with the Ten of Swords. You know what? I'm confused. Let me see something real quick. Because I see the Page of Wands. I want to see what the Knight of Wands looks like. Yeah, okay. I feel like someone does have a level of passion, but I think somebody does want to come forward with a message, but I feel like it might end something. It may cause some sort of ending. It may close out a cycle. Maybe someone's closing out a cycle of overthinking. You know, because if you think about the Page of Swords with the Eight of Swords, that's basically the Nine of Swords, right? Someone has been anxious, someone has been having sleepless nights, and they probably are wanting to move past that, maybe want to communicate however they're feeling. And, you know, the communication with maybe ending something, maybe ending whatever this concern is, maybe bringing clarity. It could also be allowing there to be a new cycle to start, allowing a new cycle to start in a relationship. Okay, I'm gonna see what is the outcome. What is the outcome? Okay, that's a nice outcome. Should I keep going? Wow. 10 of Pentacles with the 2 of Cups. This is a good outcome. This is about prosperity, stability, abundance. But 2 of Cups is about being equally yoked and being on the same page, seeing eye to eye, sharing each other's cups. I feel like this is a positive outcome. With the Emperor, I feel like somebody is trying to do, they want to take control of this take control, but not like in a negative way, but more like they may be trying to master something within themselves, you know, and wanting to bring, you know, like I mentioned, someone may be feeling like they're not ready because they maybe there's some issues. It could be that, right? But I feel like depending on your situation and your person, and if you know that they're focused on their stability, their financial stability, they may be experiencing financial issues, and that's something that's their main focus, their main concern. I feel like that once they're able to get that in control, you know, then they'll feel a level of stability. They may feel like they're able to commit, you know, to you, where you and them can build something together, right? But the thing is, it's like ultimately, it's like, it depends on your situation. You know, if you see that someone has been putting effort towards their financial freedom, I'm gonna put it that way, like, and freeing themselves, because it may be debt. It could be maybe wanting to level up in their career, get promotions, get more money, raises, bonuses. You know, maybe they're doing overtime, maybe they're working multiple jobs. You know, they're focused on their finances, you know. Another one, the fact that I brought that up, it just made me think, you know how some men, if they want to get married, they will, and they say you and them went ring shopping, and they don't have the money to buy the ring that you like. They may be focusing on trying to get the money up so that they can buy you the ring that you like. It could be that, you know. That's a side message. That's just what popped into my mind right now. But depending on your situation, you know, some people may be taking control. Maybe this is you walking away and taking control because the person isn't doing all this stuff. You know, maybe they have been stringing you along, and you're like, no, you know, I think I have to be, you know, be the boss in this. I have to make the ultimate decision, firm decision, and move away from the situation because it's no longer emotionally fulfilling or satisfying, right? But it could also be someone, excuse me, I see a lot of green. And this is the Wizard of Oz, the Emperor. This could be just someone that's taking control and maybe moving away from whatever has been an interfering factor in the relationship, or not. But with the 10 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups, it's looking like, depending on your situation, that this could be something that has a positive outcome, something that can lead to commitment, you know. But everybody's situation is different, you know. So you will know. If this is someone that you feel like has been stringing along and they haven't necessarily been putting any efforts towards their career and finances and stuff like that, that you may have to consider what you're going to do moving forward, you know. Are you going to spend more time in a relationship or move on? You know, ultimately it's your decision, you know, it's your life. You know what works for you, And I understand how it is to, you know, feel emotionally bonded to someone, attached to somebody. But ultimately, if the attachment is no longer healthy, then you have to consider, is it something to you should continue to hold on to, you know? Maybe it's time to make some changes. Maybe there's conversations that need to be had. But like I mentioned, it's all totally up to you. But if it's a situation where the person has been focusing on their finances, improving their finances, trying to clear debt, working multiple jobs, just really trying to boss up, bring stability, financial stability in their life, because the King of Pentacles is about money, it's about material resources, it's about energy, it's about money, it's about abundance, it's about, and abundance can come in many forms. It could be monetary, it could be with materials, and it could also be with energy, you know. So you will know your situation more than I will. Oh, this video is so long. I doubt anybody will. Oh, you know what? I hope somebody watches this. Okay, let's see. Let's get some love messages. I try not to do readings this long, but sometimes that's how they go. That's how they go. Okay. What does this... All right. If you have been in no contact with this person, what would this person want to say to the viewer? You're the first thing I think about when I open my eyes. I can't keep pretending that I'm okay without you. I miss the feeling of your body on mine. And I'm keeping my distance to protect you and your energy. Okay, let me get other love messages. What does the person, the collective, what messages is the person fixing on Wednesday? Wow. Okay. Wow. Just interesting. The I want a future with you came out in reverse. So some of you may be dealing with somebody who has been stringing you along, right? I'm scared you will reject me. The distance between us kills me. I don't feel like I deserve you. Sometimes people, when they try to overcompensate with working and money, they may tie their value, their personal value, to their personal worth, their financial worth, their monetary worth, their net value. And then you tame my demons. And then there's one more card. I'm caught up in the karmic relationship. Ugh, okay. So some of you that may resonate with. So I'm going to end the reading there. I hope it's helpful in some way. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Artemis Oracle. My name is Tan, and I'm wishing you a great day ahead.